Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to build something really cool that you have probably used hundreds of times without even realizing it. We are going to create a search bar, a local search component that updates the URL as you type, just like Amazon does. Let me show you what I mean. Head over to Amazon real quick. You can try and see what happens when I search for something, maybe MacBook or iPhone you have been wanting. So let's say I search for MacBook and check this address, this URL. Take a look at this URL bar. Notice how it's changed whatever I typed here in the search box in the URL. Even better, I can change this to an iPhone. You can see. So when you copy this link and give your friends, they will see the exact same thing you are saying. This is what you are saying. This is what your friends will be saying. This, my friend, is a URL state management. You won't see the same effect with other ways of state management. A lot of websites, not just Amazon, use this. Even Superbase does e-commerce. So it's completely legal and actually consider a best practice because you can easily share link. When someone open the link, they see the same thing, the same result as you did. It helps improve the SEO. So to create the local search bar, I'll be using the financial dashboard I'm currently building to teach us how it works. You can see the design I got from the Figma community. Shout out to the community for the consistency. You can notice I have different search bar. I'm going to make the local search bar usable too. So to get started, I've already created a search bar folder in my component folder with a search bar component. So I've already called it in my layout page so we can see it where I make changes. So I'll be developing the UI first. You can start with functionality first, but here in this tutorial, we'll be developing with UI first. So we start by starting the div and we give it a class name, a dark, sorry, BG dark of 200, border gray, that's 600. Okay, you're already seeing what it looks like. We make it flex, minimum height of, let's give it like 40 pixel. We make it go, item center, 100 SM. Yeah. Before we add the props of other classes, we need to manually add the max width of 250 pixel and let's give it a padding X of 2. This is already looking like a search bar already. So right below it, we can render an input and this input comes from the shard.cn input. Let's add that input. Need to import the input from UI to have a type of text, a placeholder, search, a value. We pass a manual value here. Let's say search. We update it later. And on change, would you take a callback function with an event? Okay, with that event. We don't have the event now yet, so we need to make it an empty callback function. The reason why we are having this issue because this on change function, I've turned this component to a client component, so we need to pass use client at the top of our component. So now we have it back. So we give our class a no focus border none placeholder. I want to change the color of the placeholder, so to be text. Let's say primary 200, shadow none, outline none. I think we should be good. Border none, shadow none, outline none. Oh, we still having border. Let me reload this. Outline none. Perfect. Sorry, I thought I'm already having a bug. Okay, thought I'm already having a bug. Sorry. So now perfect. You can then see in my design we have the search icon. So I'm going to add it before the input. So let's use the Next.js image element next. So the source will be icon search svg, also will be search. Let's give it a width of 24, height of 24. So now we have something that looks like a search bar, and I would love to think this rounded Excel will be good. Yeah, perfect. Great. So now the question is, how can we make this search component reusable across our app? For that, we can add different props to it where we call the local search bar. So we come to our layout, we add, okay, let's add a placeholder, search for, Let's add other classes, under class. So here I'll add a maximum width of 300 pixels so that we can pass other classes if required. And one last thing is to manage the URL from the search query. It needs to know where the search query is being used. So in this case, we pass a route props. So let's add route. This route props will be the / since we are in the home page. So yeah, we then go to our search component and accept all of these props. Let's go down under classes and routes. So we need to type this. Let's give it a props. Come here, interface, props. So placeholder will be strange, other classes will be strange too. And this placeholder will now change it to placeholder, other classes. Come here, these classes will turn into an object with templates later. So then you can add other classes. I need to remove this maximum. This. Great. The biggest question is how we are going to deal with the value and unchanged search bar. So at the top of our local search, we are going to say const search params equal use search params. I hope you are saying that. Let me make it bigger. And const query equal search params dot query or empty string. If query doesn't exist, we are going to set the query to empty string. Now that we have a query, we now set a use state field. Let's use const. Perfect. So at the start, it will be set to a query. So if query is nothing, it will be nothing. We can use the set query as our value here. So search query, sorry. And here we take an event, which the event will change. So we'll now say set search query, the event dot target dot value. But we can't submit yet because if we type something, it is not modifying the URL. I will teach you how to submit it. First, I need to show you it actually works. Because if you type something here, initially type something here, reu, and submit it, it's not submitting. But I need to show you it actually works. So here, let's say question mark query equal react.js and submit it. You can see it in our search bar. You can change it here. So musowe raji and submit it. You can see it's updating our search bar. So it's working. But now we have to do the real deal. The reason why we are here, you remember we talked about the URL state management. So now is when we teach ourselves how it is done. To make our life easy, we'll be using a query string package. So you might be asking questions, why can't we do this with JavaScript? Yes, we can do it with JavaScript, but let's do it with this package because we can get .parse, .string, and other packages that comes with the package. So let's install query string, npm install. Okay, where is this one coming from? Let's go back to where we are coming from. Since we'll be using this query library in a couple of different places, I'll create a URL using my lib folder. So here, let's come to my lib folder and create a url.ts. Now here, we'll be creating two functions, which is regular functions. So const form URL query, a regular function, a regular arrow function, and const remove keys URL query, remove keys from URL query. Okay, perfect. The form URL query, these are form URL query. We update the URL parameter with a new value. So we are going to pass a key and value to it. So the first thing we're going to do is to work on this form URL query. We want to form a new URL query when we make some changes, when we type. So we want to form a new URL query. So what the form URL query do is it will update the URL parameter with a new value. So we are going to pass a key value to it. So it will add to the new URL, and that's it. Doesn't do anything else. So here we are going to take the params on the URL. So we take params key. Okay, it already gave me interface URL params. So the params will be string, the key will be string, and the value will be string. Let me close this. And right here we now say const query string equal to qs dot pass, not pass URL dot pass our params. But we need to import this query string for the QS we install. So let's do that here. Import QS from query string. Perfect. So it might be good idea to know what we are passing. So for that reason, I'll show you how we can call this function. So let me export this, export function query, and come to my search params. Now we can add that within our search component. I'll create a new use effect, and this use effect will run whenever the search change. So here, pass search query. So let's say if there is search query, we need to form new URL. Const new URL equal form URL query, which will take the params. So and the params will be set search params dot to string. Okay, it's asking for other parameter, which is the key is query and the value is search query. Yeah, perfect. So the current params is to know the existing params, and the key is to specify which new one we want to add. And the key might change to the likes of filter, so that must not lose the current params. Even if the input is empty, we still need to specify the current state of the query input. So we need to get all of this value and then update it. How do we update this value? We use this form URL query. So we'll come here and now say query string of key is equal to value. Return qs dot string file URL. We will pass an object of URL window location dot path name, and the query will now be query string. So we simply take this base URL, take it in the query string, update the key and value, then append it to the query, forming the new URL. So what are we going to do with this new URL? In our search component, we define a new router, const router equal use router coming from Next navigation. Yeah, perfect. So we now use the router to push the new URL. So we'll be accepting an object of school to false. So now this our dependency will be complaining because we need to add route search params. So now it won't complain again. If we reload this will be gone. Let me empty this, cancel. So let's test this out and see if it's working. So if I type you can see this our query is equal to If I type mu musowe. So now our search local search bar is working. So now we can focus on the case where we don't have the search query. So what do? We now say s. We need to check if the path name is equal to the route we are currently on. Remember the route we passed as a props. So if path name is equal to route, what do we do? So let's come here, add path name, const path name, or use path name. We then form a new URL, const new URL. I don't think we've exported this yet. Yes, we need to export it. Remove from URL query. We will now add the path name to the dependency array. Yeah. So for that reason, we'll create our remove key query function. So I should be duplicating this because they kind of look alike, but no worries. I'll just copy this. Command Z. It will also take a param and also keys to remove. We'll create a type for its own interface. Params will be string. Keys to remove will not be string. It will be a promise. We take an object of key of string. Yeah. So let's go back to our search params. Our local search query. I will now pass an object. The params will be to string, and our keys to remove will now be an array of query. Those are the two things we need from this function. Let me come here and pass the key to remove it. Okay. Perform an action, which is delete. So we'll come here, now say keys to remove dot for each of them. For each key, we delete query string. Oh, I think I made a mistake. Here will be an array of strings. Sorry. Yeah, array of strings. Perfect. Which is return qs dot url, an object of URL query string. And we will add an additional object, which is keep none. So let's go back to our search component. What are we going to do? You get it. We are going to say router.push.new URL. So let's try it out together. We are going to track how our search bar behave. So musowe React.js Next.js hello world macbook. The beauty of this is that when you type something, you can then copy it to your friends and they will see the same page as you are. Not only on the search will actually be applied to fetch request database, which fetches all of our data into the home page. Before we put this into use, we are still not done with optimizing. Imagine when we are doing a refetch database for search. That will be crazy amount of API call, which we want to avoid. So that takes me to the next topic, which is delay debounce. Delay debounce, which allow us to only send a request when users stop typing. How can we implement this? Trust me, it's straightforward. We use a JavaScript functionality to build this. This time around, we'll create a new function called set timeout. So the use effect const. I think this thing is reading my mind. Amount of time we want to delay the debounce. So this is it. And what we will do is to put the entire search query right within this delay debounce. So the entire if, perfect, and put it here. Okay, one last thing. We need to clear the timeout. Don't clear timeout, delay debounce. Perfect. So now let's check it out ourselves. Let's check it out. If you type you see how long it took before the comes out. If you type u, it takes a second before it comes out. So if you type musowe, everything comes out together. You can see how simple it is. So whatever call we make will actually be debounced. What does that mean? I've already shown you. When you type R, it takes 1 second to appear. If I type E, it takes another seconds to appear. And if I type A, it takes another seconds to appear. But what if I type fast React.js? You can see everything appear all together. Why didn't it take 2 seconds or more to appear? That's because as long as you're typing, it's not going to do anything. When you stop for 1 second, it is considered it's done and it will send over the request. In simple words, the Debouncing is a way of controlling how often a function runs, especially when user types a lot. To see how this works in practical, let's create an array of an object in our home page. Let's go to our home page. So let's create some test data. I'll create it outside of this component. So const, let me see, use users. So in our section, we map over this user. So users dot map, save it. Now we have our user. Thanks to Copilot. So Copilot created this UI for us. Now, how do we use the search to actually filter out what we want to see? Let me show you. We use something that's completely new to Next.js, search params. Okay, search params, and create an interface, a type of search param. This search params will be promise key of strange. Now that we have the search params, how do we get the query from it? We will say, let me come here, const query equal away search params. So we will now filter, now say const filtered users equal to users dot filter, which will take user. So on each user, let me hide this, user dot name dot to lowercase dot includes, which include query dot lowercase. You need to make sure query is there. So I need to check. So now instead of user here, we use filtered user. Filtered user. So we are seeing an empty data here. So there's something I used to do. Here we'll check. If there's no query, make it an empty string. So now we have everything together. Now let's check if everything is working. As a developer, I think checking for 1 second is too long. So let's come here to our search component and reduce this to 300 milliseconds. Yeah, we can type fast now. So let's test this out. Raji, we have Raji Oki, we have Raji Musawi. Let's change it to Do. We have only Do here. And check this our query out. If I copy this, come here, paste this, you have the same thing. So come back here. Let's check Joshua. Let's check Josh. Let's check Musa. Very good. That is it, everyone. We've built a reusable search component with URL state management. You can drop this anywhere in your app and it will work right out of box. Plus, it's optimized with debouncing. If you enjoyed this tutorial and want to see more like it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. Big shout out to JS Mastery and the whole dev community. See you in the next one. Bye.